For example, patience is a great power. But if I keep being patient and patient and patient, very gradually that devolves into becoming passive and even apathetic. The same way with determination. In determination, I have an aim, I have a focus, and it helps me go beyond all distractions and all obstacles. But if that determination is not balanced with flexibility or with patience, then it starts to become stubbornness. I start to become tense. I start to become over-focused. And when people are stubborn, then they start to become insensitive to the needs of the people around them. So to keep balance, it means that I have opposite positives together: determination plus patience and flexibility. Another balance is love and detachment. We need to be loving, to be accepting, to be respectful. We need, of course, to show mercy towards others. But for example, if there's too much mercy, what will happen? Then others start to become dependent on me. And when they become dependent on me, then they lose their own freedom. They cannot stand on their own feet. And if I give the wrong type of love, it starts to become possessiveness. And in that possessiveness, the other person loses their freedom. A characteristic of pure love is freedom. It allows the other to be free. So love needs to be balanced with detachment. Sometimes people don't understand detachment. They think it's something negative. But detachment is a very, very positive quality. Another word for detachment could be respectful space. If there's not detachment, if we don't respect the space in between, then there's the danger of getting stuck. And when we get stuck, nothing moves. Even good things do not move. Another balance is the balance of silence and action. I need silence to recharge myself, to renew myself, to relax. I need to go inward from time to time. But if I stay inward and I never come out, then I am lost in myself. I can become selfish, self-centered, lost in my own thoughts and my own ideas. True silence means to come out, to balance my inner world with my outer world. When I find peace in silence, when I find happiness in silence, when I find trust, truth in silence, then I share that with others. And to share, I must come into actions. Silence will always create quality in actions. In the same way, if I am lost in actions and never stop and reflect on what I am doing and why I'm doing it, then those actions will simply overtake my mind, and I'll just be doing and doing and doing like a machine. To keep the balance of different positive things at the same time will keep me healthy and make me truly functional and effective in life and in relationships.
Let's begin with a few moments of connection with God. Sit straight and still. As I sit in this silent moment, I become aware that I, the soul, the being, the spirit, life force, is carrying a lot of stuff that is not required. I, the soul, am carrying a huge burden on myself. The burden of painful memories, unfulfilled desires, grudges and grievances, expectations, fears, worries. See yourself. I, the soul, realize now that I've carried a lot of burden in my journey of unawareness. Now that God has made a presence into my life, I invoke Him. He, the being, the Supreme Soul, emerges before me. See Baba in front of you, just like you, a point of light, but a point that is the ocean of love, the ocean of bliss. See yourself, the point of light, the child of God, sitting in His presence, the presence of the ocean of love, ocean of peace, also a point. I offer Him all that is burdening me. God is extending His arms of rays of light and taking away all my burdens. I give Him my painful memories, my fears, my worries, my expectations, the pain of unfulfilled desires. I give him everything, slowly, gradually, and all the darkness, all the load is vanishing in that ocean of light and love. As I keep giving, I feel very light and free. See yourself an absolutely light soul, free from all burdens. I feel so light, so free. I dance in joy. This is what it feels like to be me. Now I have my eternal companion with me. I can do my deeds, my duty, and give him the burden of everything else that I can't control. Sit in this beautiful state for some time. This light, free state for some time. Om Shanti. Could you give your burdens? How many could? Please raise your hand. Okay, some could. And what about others? You couldn't give it. So you see, we are carrying all this stuff inside us because we feel it is important, or there is something in our existence that depends on it. So this discernment between what is going to serve me and what is not going to serve me is very important. So we must understand that these things that we are carrying from our journey are only giving me pain, and they have got nothing to do with, like, they are not serving me right now, they will never serve me in the future. But there is a little gap in our understanding somewhere, and we feel that this is crucial and this is important, this doesn't have to be let go. So do you feel that you should let go of the negativity you are carrying in your heart for people and events and whatever happened with you in your journey, because you always think that this happened to me and that happened to me, and then You are carrying that whole story with you. So we need to think about seriously whether that is doing any good to me. Those stories and the burden that I am carrying, is it doing any good to me? And there is a very good saying by Buddha, and Buddha said that anger is like holding a piece of burning coal in your hand and thinking of throwing it at the other, but in the process, your own hand gets burned. So we are holding grudges, grievances, complaints, fears, worries in our hearts and minds, and we think that probably this will affect somebody else or the situation or some future event. But what is happening in the process is our own heads and hearts and everything is suffering because of that. Our bodies, our lives, our relationships, our minds, everything is suffering because of that. So we need to understand that it is not what is done to us which we are holding, but it is the story we have associated with it which we are holding, and it is not harming the other person or the event, but it is harming me. So I should let go of things that are harming me. So do you know that in companies there are health checkups, and there is always management health checkup. There is employees health checkup are very low, very rare. So there is always management health checkup. Now employees are the one who are shouted at, but the management is the one who shout at them. Now, usually it is thought that the person who receives somebody's anger is a victim or is to be pitied upon, and that person is in the receiving end and he is thought to be suffering. But the truth is the opposite. The one who creates that anger, the one who holds that anger in his heart, is the one who is suffering and is affected more. So that is why the management suffer more from diseases, because they are creating that anger. So you see, if somebody gave you their anger or their complaints or their criticism, you have the option not to take it and create it in your mind and hold it in your heart. But then the person who is creating it will definitely create it and give it and also receive that negative energy as a consequence of that karma. So you must understand that it is not in my best interest or in at all in my interest to hold negativity inside. And when we let go of this, so you see, there is always this thing about dan punya. So whenever you go to a temple or you go to God, you give him something, right? You offer something. Now God says, I don't value your other offerings as much as I value your offering of your negativity. So, whatever negativity, whatever fears, whatever worries you are holding inside, please give it to me. That is something that I would like very much as an offer. And have you ever thought that when we celebrate Shivratri, then we offer Bel Patra and Ak and Dhatura. So you see, Ak and Dhatura are so bitter and poisonous, and those things we offer to Shiv ji on Shivratri. Now, what if somebody offered you the same thing? You visited somebody and they offered you Ak and Dhatura and Bel Patra on a platter and said, I am treating you like Shiva and please accept this. So you would find it very insulting that somebody is offering you these things which are considered to be poisonous and then bitter in taste and other stuff. But then why is it that there is a tradition of offering these substances to God, because Shiva is called to be Paramatma? So why is there a system of offering this to Shiva? Because God likes it very much when you offer your bitterness or your anger or whatever negative you are holding in your heart to Him. And this is the offering He comes and asks us to offer. So this is His calling. He says that I have come, and what I want from you is you give me your anger, your bitterness, anything and everything that is negative that you're holding in your heart. And you must have also heard stories about Samudra Manthan, and then it is said that when Samudra Manthan took place, then there was a lot of venom that came out of it, and then it was Shivji who held that all that poison in his throat. So that poison was held by him in his throat, and that's why there is a blue color of the throat that shone. So now, these things are all symbolic. So, whenever you churn, so what is manthan? So, when you churn your mind, so you sit and you think, and there is a churning going on in your mind, then there is a lot of angst and bitterness and complaints and fears and all that emerge out of it. So what you do is you offer it to God, and then you give it to Him, and He takes it and He consumes it so that you are free from it. So do you know that whenever we sit and think, there is a lot of negativity that comes out of that churning, because basically our sanskars are very negative right now. So whenever we think about anyone or anything, we usually tend to think negative. So I will tell you one very beautiful incident, and I call it very beautiful because it made me realize the nature of humanity these days. So there was this lady, and she came to me and she said that my husband is always showing me the arrogance of his money, and he is always telling me that I am the one who is dependent on him, and that he is taking care, and that he is very burdened by my burden, and he never recognizes my contribution to the household, and he shouts at me, abuses me verbally, and then he shows his arrogance in many ways. And then she said that I would like that he also runs out of money one day, and then he sees what it feels like to be in my situation. And so then I said, you see, if he runs out of money, there is no money in the household. So you also are in the same boat. Do you realize that? So she said, I'm already suffering. I would like him to suffer a little. So I said, don't you love him? So she said, no, I love him. Of course, he's my husband. But then I'm very hurt by his behavior, and I would like him to suffer at some point of time. And she said, I may look very bizarre to you. So I said, no, you are not at all bizarre. You are just voicing what most people think in their head. So you see, we have this sanskar of negative thinking, and even for people we say we love the most, at the slightest something, something happens and they are not listening to me, or they are not doing things my way, or they have rubbed me the wrong way, and then this starts, and you start thinking negatively about them, you start abusing them in your head, you start wishing ill for them. All of this starts, and if you notice, you create a lot of negative thoughts about the very people you say you love. Or for your own self, you see there are thoughts of doubt, and there are thoughts of so-called concern that you create for yourself, but which are mostly not energizing or uplifting in nature. They are negative and boggling down in nature. So these thoughts we create for ourselves, for situations, for other people. And then God says you need to recognize the negativity you are creating inside and just offer it to me. So when you can't help it, and that is your sanskar, and you feel very what do you say, you feel very majboor with your sanskar, so you feel you can't help that sanskar. So then what you do is you just emerge God in front of you, and you say, this is my thought, and I want you to just take it away, and I want to feel light right now. So you should recognize that this negativity is not doing any good to you or to your body or your relationships or anything. But there is a way in which we think which is very negative, and most of the time we are engaging in this in the form of righteous anger, or rightful angst, or you call it my expectations are not met and I'm hurt, so I'm thinking this way. So as a reaction to your hurt or your disappointment or something, we tend to justify our processes of minds in many ways, but we create a lot of negativity. So we will say, I'm fearful, so that's why I'm thinking negative. So whatever is the underlying emotion, but if you are creating negative thoughts, it is having an impact on your mind, your body, your destiny, your relationships, your work, everything. So it is time we recognize these processes and just immersed God and offered it to God. And today I will also like to talk about, so you see, there once I was invited to this Indian Institute of Public Administration, and there was a group of around 12 to 13 DG level delegates from Tunisia, and they wanted me to deliver a lecture on Indian spirituality. And then I asked them, so these officers, what language do they speak? So they told me that they speak very little English, and they basically speak French. So I said, okay. And then I said, what religion do they practice? So they said they basically practice Islam. So I said, all right. And I told them, so what do you want me to speak to them about? So Indian spirituality, I don't know whether it will make sense to them. So they said, no, you, dear sister, you just do whatever you can in this situation. So I said, okay. So when I went to them, they were not very nicely, favorably predisposed to me. And then I was wearing this white sari, and I think it was very daunting in some way. So then I asked them, do you think about, are you interested in God? And then they didn't want to be interested in God at that time, because there is a lot of disagreement about who is God between various sections of people. And then they said, we don't know. So I said, okay, are you interested in peace, purity, health, happiness, bliss, power, love? So they said, yes, we are interested in that. So I said, then you should be interested in God. So they said, why? So I said, because He is the ocean of love, purity, peace, happiness, knowledge, bliss, power, everything. So that they found interesting, and that broke their faces into a smile. And then we got chatting, and it was a very nice and successful session. So you see, whenever we think about God, we think about cars and projects and money, and we think that God will give us all of that. Or if I'm not having a child, then probably God will bless me with a child. Or if I don't have a job, then God will give me some job. So we think about God when we think about material stuff mostly, right? But when we want love, do we go to God? We don't go to God. We go after people for love. When you want happiness, you go shopping, you go trekking, you go holidaying. You don't go to God for happiness. Or when you want peace, you don't think you should go to God for peace. So we have very little awareness about what actually God does or what He offers. So what He likes to be offered with. So He likes to be offered with all our negativity. So that's His best food. He wants us to give Him all that we don't want to retain inside and that which is burdening us. And second thing, he offers us peace, unconditional love, happiness, bliss, and a lot of power. So when you want power, you don't need to go to your office and wield power over others to feel powerful. You can go to God and take power. You can go to God and take love because He loves you immensely and unconditionally. You can go to God and take a lot of peace because He's the ocean of peace and He's the ocean of happiness. So we generally don't go to God for these things. So we think that these things are a byproduct of material achievement and accomplishment. And then we think God is for something else. So God is for bestowing and blessing us with material stuff. But that is not true. So God says, I don't have a big factory up here and I can throw things at you and then I can give you children and money and material things. That is not something I do because I don't have some storehouse here to be giving you this stuff. So that you will get from your own karma. So you will get as you do. So if you keep praying, I cannot give you a promotion, or I cannot give you job security, or I cannot build a flat for you if you just keep sitting and praying. So that I can't do for you because that's not something I have. But what I can give you is if you come up to me, then I can fill you with love, I can fill you with peace, I can fill you with happiness. And when you are loveful, peaceful, happy, powerful inside, then you can conquer the world. Because what does it require to conquer the world? So you can do anything that you want and you can excel at it. I will give you the formula how to excel at it. So you attract as you are. So when you become knowledgeful, loveful, peaceful, happy, blissful, then the sky is the limit. You can achieve whatever you want because you are capable of working with the universe. You know how to transmit the right energy. You know how to build good relationships. You know how to operate with your body. So when you become capable enough by connecting with me, then you can conquer the world, and then you don't need to beg for petty things to me. You can take care of your life and also shine a ray of light in others' lives. But then I don't do this stuff providing thing. I give you peace, happiness, love, bliss, power. So this is something that we need to register. Now, about who is God, and before who is God, whether God is a who or a what. So, what do you think is correct? Who is God or what is God? So, if I put this question differently, is God a someone or a something? So, how many say someone? Please raise your hand. God is a someone. Okay, Thank you. And how many say something? God is a something. Okay, and what about those who are saying nothing? So you don't think about God, or you are not interested, or what? So you have to give me some opinion. You see, you have to think about whatever I am telling you, because if you don't think now, you will think later and you will think bizarre. So you have to think right now, and if you have any questions, you have to ask me in the class, right? So there are answers like someone, and then there is a I don't know. So yes, we don't know right now, but what could be probably the truth in your opinion? So when you juggle your head, what comes out of it? Do you think someone looks better or something looks better? So you have to think about it, because there are no right answers or wrong answers. That I will tell you what the truth is. But I want you to think about it also, because I don't want you to just take whatever I'm giving you without thinking over it. Because if you don't think about it right now, then you will never tread this pathway from I don't know to I know, because you have heard so many things, and because you've never thought about it, you say I don't know. And then today also you will hear, and then 1 year later you will say I don't know. So you have to think about what you think could be, and then when I tell you, you have to think about whether what I tell you seems to be correct to you or not, whether it makes sense or not. Okay, so then there are answers like someone, then I think it is energy waves, right? So it means something, right? So is it it, or is it he or she or something else? So you have to think about whether God is an it or God is a someone. Okay, supreme power, light, fine. Now, here we need to understand that when we say power, when we say energy, then when we talked about I, the soul, I clarified it to you that I am a soul, I am an energy, I am light. Yes? But am I a something? No, I am a someone. Right? So a soul is not a thing. A soul is a being, and a being is also energy. A being is also light. A being is also power. The body is just a cover. The body doesn't matter. You exist even without the body. So the consciousness exists independently of the body. If you go to Google and look up near-death experiences, so there are many people who relate or narrate their near-death experiences, and in those experiences, they give a very good encounter of what they experienced when they were out of the body. So when the soul, the consciousness is out of the body, even then the consciousness experiences what is happening in and around them while the body is clinically dead. So you can go and look up near death experiences, and you will find that when the body is clinically dead, the consciousness is awake and aware, and the consciousness is capable of experiencing the world even without the body sometimes. So that is the nature of consciousness. So you, the soul, are a being. You are not a thing. You are not some stuff. You are a being, and you are an energy. You are a power. Dying to Be Me by Anita Murjani, right? So at Near Death Experience, that's a celebrated account, so by Anita Murjani. So you can read that also. Now, So I don't want you to go into too much details about the near death experience, but whenever there is a near death experience, what they tell you is when they are out of the body, they realize that they are surrounded by love, peace, purity, happiness, bliss, and they understand that's their nature, and then they regret how they have been in this life because they didn't understand this is the nature. So, this is something that everybody relates, and this is what we are studying in this class also, that the nature of the soul is peace, love, purity, happiness. But when we are body consciousness, in this consciousness of I and my, then these things are lost. Okay, so you are a soul, a spirit, you are energy, but you are conscious, you are living, and therefore you are someone. So let me make a distinction between conscious. There is a question. Mostly these people just experience light. So does that mean God has no form? So in my opinion, what they experience is not God. They experience their own light, but they think that is God. So God is not experienced when we leave one body, and so we have to go to the soul world to experience God. But we will not talk about this today. But in my opinion, souls, because there is no knowledge, so when a soul comes out of the body, they feel that they are surrounded by God, but actually what they are experiencing is their own aura of divinity and peace and love, and they confuse it to be God. So that is it. Now so when we say living or conscious, so what do I mean by living or conscious? And then there is a word conscient being and then inconscient energy. So Jad and Chetan in Hindi we call it. So what is the difference between a Jad, that is an inconscient being energy, and then Chaitanya, which is conscious being? So a conscious being is capable of creating thoughts and feelings. And even matter is capable of receiving vibrations, but matter is not capable of creating thoughts and feelings. So, for example, there is this huge debate about whether plants have life or not. So, in that sense, everything has life, even water has life. So, do you know they say that water has memory, and then if the water has traveled a certain realm where there is a certain vibration, then the vibration stays in the water. And whenever somebody drinks that water, so the vibration becomes part of the one who is drinking it. So there is every element of nature has the capacity to absorb vibrations. So whenever there are vibrations around, plants will absorb it, water will absorb it, the air will absorb it. But then none of these things. So you can't teach the plant to stay okay in a negative environment. So the plant is not capable of creating a contradictory vibration or environment for themselves. Similarly, when we say conscient being, means you are capable of choosing your thoughts and feelings and creating them. And when we say unconscious or inconscient, it means that that is also energy, but then they cannot create their own thoughts and feelings. So when we say someone, we are referring to that entity, that energy, which is capable of creating thoughts, feelings, and experiences. So God is not a something, God is a someone, because God is living, God is capable of thinking, experiencing, radiating the energy that God is. Now, when we say energy, so when I was talking about the soul also, I clarified that many people will tell you soul is an energy, but what kind of energy they will not tell you. So they will never clarify whether it is thermal energy, chemical energy, atomic energy, or what kind of energy. Now, even about God, everybody says He's a power, He's an energy. But what energy is God? Is is God the energy of, again, pure, is God atomic energy, nuclear energy? What energy is God? So God is the energy of, again, just like the soul, God is the ocean of knowledge, purity, peace, love, happiness, bliss, and power. So, just like a soul is made up of 7 qualities, God is the ocean of these 7 qualities. So, God is a someone who is the ocean of these 7 qualities. So, God is the ocean of knowledge, purity, peace, love, happiness, bliss, and power. All right. So this is about God. And what is the form of God? So just like the form of a soul is a point of light, so the form of God is also a point of light. Now we will talk about how we agree on this form of God and other stuff. But before that, I want to ask you one question. There is a very big notion that God is everywhere and God is like some air or some ether which is spread everywhere. But we always thought of God as something. So then that concept of God being like air everywhere was all right. But now that you think that God is a point of light and an energy, and He is the ocean of knowledge, purity, peace, love, happiness, bliss, and He is conscious and living. So, can a someone be everywhere, or a someone has to be somewhere? So, you think about yourself, you are a soul. Can you be everywhere? You can't be everywhere, right? So God is also not everywhere. Contrary to popular belief, God is not everywhere. But just like, the sun is not everywhere, but sun has so much of light and heat in it that anybody anywhere on the planet can have access to it. So the power of the sun is so huge that even if you are at a very big distance, you can have access to it. Similarly, God is not everywhere, but since He is the ocean, if you tune into Him, wherever you are, you can connect and take power from Him. Okay, but just like the sun, you see, if you close yourself up in a cave and you don't let the sun in, and you cut off all the ways in which the sun can enter the cave, then you will be bereft of light, even if the sun is capable of giving you light and heat anywhere on the planet. Similarly, God is the ocean, and we, the souls, can have access to His love, purity, peace, happiness anytime, anywhere. But we are not having that access because we have cut ourselves from Him. And how do we cut ourselves from God? By closing ourselves in the cage of body consciousness. So we have become very body conscious, and that is why, do you feel that as I am talking, you are finding it difficult to connect to somebody who doesn't have a body, or conceptualize or understand somebody who is a being without a body? So, do you encounter that difficulty? Yes, because that is what we have done to ourselves. We, the souls who don't have bodies, have started identifying with our bodies so much that now we are not able to connect to the bodiless, because we think we are trapped in bodies and we can't connect with anybody who doesn't have a body. So, this is the problem why we stopped having access to God. And this is why, although God, my parent, is the ocean of love, purity, peace, happiness, knowledge, bliss, I stopped going to Him. Why? Because He doesn't have a body. And I started hankering after all the people who have a body and started looking for love, peace, happiness, which they didn't have and they couldn't provide. But why didn't I go to God, and why I kept hankering after people is because they have bodies and God doesn't have a body. So it is body consciousness that has created a divide between the soul and God. And only when I rise over my body consciousness, that is, I start understanding and experiencing myself as a bodiless being. As soon as I appreciate and understand and realize that I don't have a body, I'm a soul. This body is just temporary and external, and I'm just this divine point of light with all relationships with the Supreme Soul who is a point of light. As soon as I come to this awareness and acceptance and understanding, the door to meet God opens up. And then you can have free access to God whenever you want, because now you have accepted Him as a reality. Now, I will tell you one very interesting thing which will kind of substantiate this. So, for example, you see, if you are talking to somebody who speaks, who looks different from you, so maybe, they are speaking in a manner, not in a language, but in a manner which doesn't look very okay to go you, or it you feel that they belong to some village and they are talking in a language which I don't connect with. So, because of this body consciousness, even if you are fully capable of understanding them, you create a mental block and you're not able to communicate with them. And this happens mostly in terms of language. So, even if the language is comprehensible, you don't make the effort to understand that language because you've created a mental block that this is not the language I speak, so I can't understand it. So, as soon as you open that mental block and you say, why can't I understand? This is that language which I speak. It's just in a different accent. So, why can't I get it? So, as soon as you open that mental block, you will be able to get what they are saying. So, this is how it works. So, we have a mental block to connecting with the bodiless because we think I am a body. And as soon as you overcome this, you will be able to connect with God. This is why in the Gita it is said, forget all religions and relations of the body, consider yourself a soul, and then remember me, then I will absolve you of your sins. So, it is only by coming to this awareness that I am not this body, I am not this physical form, I am a soul, and I have access and relationship with God, that we will be able to connect with Him. Does all this make sense to you? Or no? How many say it makes sense to you? Please raise your hand. Are you able to get what I am saying? Yes. So you need to think about it. So you are trying to. So you see, if conventional methods were like sufficient, then we would have had access to God, and then we would have had access to peace, love, happiness. Why are we all so drained out today? It's because the way in which we are operating is not enough to make a connection. And what is the missing link? This body consciousness is what is taking us away from that connection. Okay. All right, let me take up the questions. do we get a chance to meet God as a soul after dying? So, not after dying, but after dying ultimately. So, I will tell you what this means. So, we meet God once in a lot of time, and we don't have to die to meet God. So we meet God right now. So whatever you are hearing is from God, and I will give you how you can also read what God says, or tune into God. So you don't have to die to meet God. You meet God when you are alive, and then he teaches you how to die. So basically, God is the one who teaches you the art of dying. So when you die properly, you go with him. Otherwise, we die in an improper way and we keep coming back here itself. So only when God comes and we meet him alive, we learn the art of dying, and then we go back with him. Okay. It is said that everything happens with God's will. उसकी मर्जी के बिना पत्ता भी नहीं हिल सकता. Then why do crimes? No, this is not true. This is not true that God operates the world. I will talk about this. God doesn't create the world. God doesn't operate the world. And what does God do also? We will talk about it. Okay. So that is not true. Didi, if God is not everywhere, why we come to know that God is omnipresent? Because God comes at your command. So whenever you want to connect, he will be connected with you. That's why you can have access to him anywhere. So he is omnipresent, but it's not like he is everywhere. So, if he was everywhere, then everywhere should be happiness, peace, and love. But that's not true. So you can have access to him whenever you want, and you can change from peaceless to peaceful whenever you want. But you need to make that effort, all right? It is said that God is within us. No, God is not within us either. So God is a soul separate from us, just like us, but he is a separate soul. So he is not within us. He is not around us. You have to access him so that you can become like him. Okay, so he can't be everywhere. And if God is someone and can't be everywhere, how is he? So he is not within us at all. Okay, so these are the belief systems that we have grown up with. And just said that company colors. So if God was within you, why are we not colored by God? So how can I be peaceless if the ocean of peace is sitting within me? So I can't be peaceless if the ocean of peace is sitting within me. Then it is a shame on that ocean of peace to be sitting within me and I still getting peaceless. So he's not within us. All right. So access him through meditation. Now, what is meditation? First, we need to understand that meditation is the soul connecting with the Supreme Soul. But until and unless I understand that I am a soul, I accept and realize I am a soul, how can I connect with the Supreme Soul? So this is why we need to first accept and appreciate that I am not the body, I am the soul, and God is not the body, God is not in some body, he is also a soul. And he is not a he or a she or an it for that matter. He is genderless. So we use a pronoun he for convenience, but God is genderless, just like the soul is genderless. Okay. Why does the body sometimes shake while doing meditation? Is that normal? No, the body will not shake in meditation. You will only feel very peaceful and loveful and happy while meditating. I don't know what meditation you practice. And that is, so there is no need for the body to shake when you're meditating. And when you meditate, you are connected with the ocean of peace, love, happiness. So that will show on your face. And I will tell you one incident in this connection. So there was this young brother who used to come to the center, And whenever he sat in meditation, he used to smile blissfully. And that smile was so attractive and so inspiring that I had so many youngsters coming and looking at that smile and asking me, Didi, I want to smile like that. So teach me how to smile like that, brother. So I used to say, it's not the smile outside, it's what's happening inside that is giving rise to that smile. So you need to learn how to be connected with that ocean of peace and love so that you can also break into that smile. So whenever you are connected, so when you think about a child, you look like a child, is it not? Just think about a child and your face changes to that of a child. When you think about somebody who is angry, you also start feeling angry, and that shows on your face. When you talk about someone angry, then your face changes into a rage. So, similarly, when you think about the ocean of love, you will feel very loveful, and that will show on your face. Okay? Om Shanti, let's meditate. Sit still and quiet. And become aware that you are the consciousness, the being in this world of matter. Everything that you experience is your interpretation of the world around you. You are full of beliefs, memories, impressions, expectations, which are making you feel miserable. I am suffering because of what I have acquired from this world. Look at yourself, the soul, carrying so much of dust around you right now. That dust of beliefs, memories, expectations, desires. Now just peep through that dust and reach your core. The core that is me, the being that is me, is pure, pure peace, pure love, pure happiness. I am brimming with these qualities. As I become aware of them, the light of these qualities is gaining power. I dust off all the acquired, and the light shines. I am all peace, all love, all happiness in this moment. I have dusted off everything else. There is a lightness like never before. Just sit in these feelings for some time.
बरस रही है बाबा हम पे आपकी मेहरबानियाँ, प्यार में भीगे अफसाने कहती है जिंदगानियाँ। बरस रही है बाबा हम पे आपकी मेहरबानियाँ, प्यार में भीगे अफसाने कहती है जिंदगानियाँ। अगम निगम के भेद खुले, सृष्टि ना